It's a brand new week, and here is a brand new idea. Why don't the DA and the ANC get into bed post 2024? Byron, it's a Monday. What do you think of that idea?
I think it's a cuck idea, to be honest. If this were a possibility, something that could actually have happened in this country, I suppose many people would consider it to be a positive way for the DA to get in and help improve the country. But if it was an actual practical solution that could be imposed on the country, name for me one municipality anywhere in the country where this has occurred and occurred successfully. I can't name one municipality where this has been tried. I can't name one municipality where it's been successful because it's never been tried. So I can't see it happening.
So that was my reaction when I heard about this idea. But Franz Cronier, the former CEO of the Institute of Race Relations, was on Biz News TV with Alec Hogg, and he had this to say about the possibility of an ANC/DA coalition in 2024. Let's listen to what he has to say, and then we can react to it.
I spoke last week to someone who's quite involved in the previous transition and said, what's your advice? And I said, it's laid out the ground as we've done here. The ANC's losing, they're afraid of the EFF deal, EFF's afraid of the same deal. The DA and the ANC actually have something in common. There are some pragmatic small startups that could form governments. This is the situation. And these trends are irreversible. The ANC will never get back urban South Africa. It's gone forever. It's lost it completely. You know, in Gauteng, we've got the ANC below 30% now. So it shows you how alive the reform movement is in the country. And this guy said to me, you know, the thing that was very important then was that the FVA and Mandela and the people around them had sufficient respect for each other as being fundamentally decent people that they could make the deal. And he said to me, if you don't have that this time, then it's not the time for the deal.
So there you go, Byron. So according to Franz Cronier, the trends are this. The ANC are losing the urban centres. They'll never get it back. There are pragmatic upstarts, maybe Musi Maimani's party, maybe, okay, but they're not upstarts, but Freedom from Blast are quite pragmatic, ACDP is quite pragmatic, the DA is very pragmatic, there are some pragmatic elements within the ANC. The trends are the DA runs the urban areas, ANC runs the rural areas. EFF ANC deal doesn't seem very likely because they're afraid to be cannibalized by Julius Malema and his cohorts. So basically, the best deal on the table for South Africa post 2024 is perhaps for the DA and the ANC to get together and run the country for 5 years. Initially, my gut reaction is this is a shocking thing. We should never let it happen. If you think about it, it can make sense. What are your thoughts?
No, it can't. No. You love the videos where I disagree with you on stuff, but I'm going to disagree with you on this front. It can't work. It can't work because it fundamentally changes or replaces the idea that there is this ANC that is a good guy. In fact, Franz Cronier actually says in his own clip, in the Mandela era, maybe it could have worked because people had respect for Mandela. Hell, people had respect for Mbeki. I had respect for Mbeki. No one has respect for Ramaphosa, mate. And there's nobody in his cabinet that you have respect for. Those cabinet ministers need a viable position. Are you telling me that you would much rather have and I know you're not, but let's take Jordan in Cape Town. Would we give him the position of Minister of Police or Bheki Cele? Well, in an ANC position, Bheki Cele, because he gets them votes. And the ANC only ever cares about itself. The only way that this would work is if the ANC were principled enough to care about the Republic. They don't. Like, what idiot still believes the ANC gives a flying monkeys about the well-being of the country? How many times has Cyril said, party first, state second, citizens of the state, distant third? There is no conceivable way that you could get elements of the ANC that are the good guys who would effectively partner with the DA for the good of the country. Would the DA do it? Yeah, I'm pretty positive that there are members of the DA that would take the deal. And they would consider taking that deal for the good of the country. However, let's look at any country in the world where these type of deals have been tried. I'll give you two examples. The first is in neighbor to the north, in Zim, where ZANU-PF jumped on with the last crowd. You know the last crowd? I'm saying the last crowd because nobody remembers them. MDC is a footnote in the history of nothingness now because ZANU-PF sat on their coattails. Arguably, they won the election, but going into those kind of coalitions destroyed the opposition to the point where ZANU-PF will win their successful election. Because they're good? No. But because the opposition has been cannibalized. They have been tarred with the same brush as the frontline leaders. Where else has this been tried? Well, further to the north, in the UK, in David Cameron's very first government, where he joined with Nick Clegg, and the Liberal Democrats co-governed with the Conservatives. Well, where are the Liberal Democrats now? Like, nobody knows them. I don't even know who the party leader of that is anymore, because those kind of coalitions cannibalize the coalition lead. So in this instance, that's what it would do. The ANC would jump into bed with the DA. The DA would govern with them for a few years. Any successors would be classed as the ANC. Come the next election, 2028, who's the DA? Who are they again? May there be a footnote in humanity. The ANC will walk that one because nobody will remember who the DA was. It's a terrible idea.
So a few caveats to that. So I agree that doesn't work in a system like the UK. The Lib Dems have largely dissipated and disappeared. South Africa is a bit different though. So for example, we have a proportional system, not a constituency system. And in that proportional system, the DA really cares about its votes, right? They really care deeply about who votes for it, and they want people to keep voting for it. Are they going to alienate the entire base if it means keeping the Patriots network of the ANC alive? I don't think they would actually do that. In essence, what the DA can do in terms of messaging is the ANC has come to us for help to save the country from the ANC itself. And because we are patriots, because we care about service delivery, because we care about this country, we will help them make this country great. But it'll be on these terms. And they'll put down the terms, no BEE, we'll privatize ESCOM, and we want the ministers of finance and the ministers of, I don't know, education. Helen Zille can become the Minister of Education, right? And also another, excuse me, another condition is that we bring in the Freedom Front Plus. They can run agriculture, and Herman Mashaba can be Minister of Home Affairs. How's that? How's that for a deal? Because if the ANC goes below 45% and they don't want to do a deal with the EFF because they're scared of the EFF, I don't know what other options they might have. Good is nowhere. ATM is nowhere. Those small and Yana parties that love the ANC so much won't get it past 50%. What else is there left to do?
Yeah, well, Good will get absolutely a good load of votes of fuck all when it comes to the next election. Why? Because they will be cannibalized with the ANC now. Anybody who looks at old Brendan and bloody Western Cape will be like, isn't he just an ANC stooge? That's what happens when you go into coalitions, wankers. So have a nice time. With that being said, no, I can't see this happening because you fucked up. You fucked up when you said, oh, they're going to do this as patriots. Like I'm laughing inside. What ANC person could you possibly draw reference to where you use the words patriot?
No, like they don't use the term, but I mean, but the ANC is split.
You're a better comedian than Trevor Noah, mate.
Oh, that's not very difficult.
Patriots,
I mean, my dead grandmother's a better comedian than Trevor Noah, so that's not much of an insult. But also, remember the ANC, like the RET faction exists. If they go by themselves, they'll get like 20% of the vote, which is not much. But also on the other hand, you do have that pragmatic part. Thabo Mbeki sniping away. Thabo Mbeki was the one who gave us 5% economic growth. If Thabo Mbeki can have an outsized influence in the ANC after the elective conference and before 2024, I don't see why he and the DA can't work together to cannibalize the ANC. The ANC aren't ruthless. They're not competent. They cannot run this country anymore. So in actual fact, I think the DA will cannibalize the ANC rather than the other way around.
It is possible, but I just can't see it happening, mate. Because the ANC would need to basically say in any coalition agreement, they would say they want to be president. And they'd be like, okay, Cyril gets another go at president. Not in their words, Basi John, yeah? But it's not going to happen. I can't see it happening. Cyril's only president of the freaking ANC in the country because it's a personal pet project to him. So he feels like, yeah, I made it. Right? He's not there for the good of the country. If he was, we would have had all the reforms that we've been promised. The country would be in a better state than it is right now. Cyril is not there for the state of the country. In fact, we've asked this question many times on this channel. Why is he still there? He's a billionaire. Jump on your freaking yacht, mate. Sail away and sit with the Ibiza babes. Like, come on, man. Like, okay, look, it's a nice fantasy. It's like a fantasy booking when you're doing your fantasy booking kind of football dream team. But no, there's no reality of this.
But
get Ronaldo Gous as a DA guy and then get him with Andile Lungisi in the same room. Yeah, that's not a disaster. Like, no, that would be great. Like,
but I think your concerns about this deal are very valid. I'm trying to validate your what do they call it? Validate your lived experience. There we go. Validate your lived experience. I get that. But in politics, right, there's no such thing as utopia. I don't see any other deal that's better. We don't get what we want, but maybe it's what we need. ANC-EFF, not a better deal. Opposition coalition, it's falling apart as we speak. Action SA are out of the official coalition. What other deals are there maybe on the table that are better than this one, even though it's a terrible one?
We've had this conversation with politicians ourselves, mate. I mean, we won't name them. We sat there with pretty much all the high-ranking politicians at dinner and said, coalitions, 2024, what do you reckon? Every single one of them, mate, says there's going to be a coalition, but we're going to have a hung parliament. Are they going to tell that to the electorate? Fuck no. They want your vote. They want to get an outright majority. But they all recognize we're going to get a hung parliament. Why are we going to get a hung parliament? Because in reality, mate, there is no coalition agreement that gets you over 50% for anyone. The ANC are not going to jump in bed with the EFF. And it's going to be for an obvious reason. And that is the EFF will demand something stupid, like we want the deputy mayor and the portfolio for finance, and we want to expropriate all land in the whole country, and all the mines must come back. Then we'll give you our little 5% vote that gets you to where you need to be. It's not going to happen, mate. Maybe I'm being too cynical. Don't know.
I think, this is South Africa. The official tagline of this country is alive with possibilities. It's not a great deal. It's not the utopian deal we need in this country. It's not the great opposition coalition deal that we wanted. But maybe it's the only deal that actually makes sense based on what we know. So therefore, Peter Groenewald, Speaker, Helen Mashaba, Head of Home Affairs, Helen Zille, Head of Education, to kick out all the woke shit. I don't know, someone from the DA runs finance. Cyril can still become president and not have any power whatsoever because he won't have the parliament behind him.
You don't have any power at the moment, mate. You'd actually have to make a decision to have any power.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is, it is one of the worst deals on the table, but it's better than all the others. So, yeah, that's my
Might be. And the fact that it is the best deal on the table is exactly why it won't happen. Because, as you said, tagline, South Africa, where anything happens. Yeah, WWE or WWF. You remember in the old days, WWF, where anything could happen. That was their tagline too, but we all knew it was fake. And it was like fake wrestling with a bunch of blokes running around, oiling themselves up, touching each other up. That's pretty much the ANC, mate. It's all fake. The entire thing is fake. So you can say, like, it would be for the good of the country, the best deal we could get. Where's that ever happened in South Africa? It's the best deal we could get. Let's do that one. They're like, no, here's the best deal, and here's the worst, shittiest deal that will give everybody the raw thing. Yeah, we want that one. Like, let's look at the article the other day. I sent it to you. Like, I know it's not part of our segment, but there's the Minister for Health going, we can't afford NHR. We don't have the money. We could never make it work, but we're doing it anyway. Like, that's the mentality of moron we deal with.
Yes,
like,
but
what country would do that?
But only because they have a majority in Parliament. If they don't, all that arrogance is gone.
I don't know how they have arrogance anyway. They know every single person in the Republic thinks they're a bunch of
Stop thinking like an Englishman. But anyway, we want to know your thoughts. What is the best deal possible in 2024? DA, ANC, or obviously not ANC-EFF, no one likes that deal, or the opposition coalition, which is looking shakier and shakier every single day? Let us know in the comments.
If we're determining shaky by Action SA, like we called it. Actually, Action SA are a bunch of flakes. And we're going to get, DA shills, DA shills. I'd rather be a DA shill than an Action SA flake. I mean, we saw it like the day that Herman Mashaba said, "I'm quitting the coalition," and then quickly the Wati, the boss, was like, "No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that." Like, oh, it's fake news. News 24 even jumped in there. They're like, "Okay, we'll correct the headline for you."
Yeah.
And then what happened a week later? Like, no, actually, we are quitting. Like, and then what next week? No, actually, we want to be involved. Like, they worse flip floppers than the freaking EFF. If your determining factor is the coalition is falling apart because you're working with these clowns, I don't know, man. Politics in this country.
Who would you rather have, Cyril in cabinet or Herman Mashaba? It's difficult. More difficult than one would think. But this is the point of the show. So please let us know in the comments down below. What is the ideal scenario come 2024? We will read all the comments. We won't respond to all of them because we actually do have day jobs. But thank you for watching.
Cheers.